Hi guys, this is how I passed my N4. I used these books. So when I first started to study for my N4, I knew that there was a lot to do and I tried to break down how much time I had from the time I started studying to the actual exam. So for me personally, that was 3 months. And I knew that there's a lot of things where I wanted to get through, and I know the best way I study personally is just by going through something, comprehensible, which goes from start to finish. So textbooks I felt was like the best bet for me. So I went to my local bookstore and I looked at a couple of books and I did some, research online and I found these books. So let's start with like this book to begin with. So this book is called Shinkansen Master, Nihongo no Rokushiken N4 Yonkyu. So this book is really good. It's quite comprehensive and quite difficult in a sense that it kind of leads you from general kind of conjugations to begin with to hardcore grammar rules what you need, and right at the end it hooks you up with like some particles and stuff like that. And all throughout the book there's like one page which is kind of like explanations and the other page which is kind of like just some questions, just questioning you about that. And then at the end of every, I think 5 pages or so, or 10 pages in this case, 5 to 10 pages, there's like a little quiz which kind of quizzes you on everything on a JLPT format. So I found that this book was really, really helpful as like a guide to just grammar in general and helping you nail down just the grammar. So I used this book. Also, I use this book for reading. So this is a really good reading book. So it starts off just by teaching you some stuff in the beginning, and as you go on, so this is like just grammar essentials. But as you go on, it goes into more kind of like exam-styled questions, and I feel like this is really, really good. I really like this book as well. So what is this book called? Yonkyu Gokaku, Nihongo no Shiken Mondai, something. So Yonkyu Dokai Speed Master. So quick mastery of N4 reading. So it's a really good book. This one for reading. As well as that, I've got this book what I use for listening. And this book is actually quite short. It's only like around, I think, 60 pages. Yeah, around 60 pages. And it's got a CD with it as well. And it kind of just brings you through a couple of exercises to get used to certain listening cues when it comes to Japanese. And I think this is really cool. And there's a little like section where it does like pitch accent as well, which is really interesting. So if you only got 3 months like I did, I would advise you to try and do 2 to 4 pages of each of these books every day. So 1, 2, 3. So you got 6 pages you're doing each day. That's what I did. And I felt like within 6 weeks or so, I completed these books. So that was great. And if you miss a day, then simply just pick up what you didn't do the other day. So that really helps a lot. So after I finished, so like around 6 weeks, you'll finish this book because it's only 100 pages. This book and the listening book because it's only 60 pages, and you probably will have be halfway, if not, probably halfway through this book because this is around 132. It depends how you go through this book. So you'll be like 3/4 of the way through that book. So after that, you probably would have learned most of your vocabulary and the kanji. There's not too much kanji to learn, I think there's only like 200 to 300 kanji to learn with the N4. So if you're like me and you just want to make sure, just in case you don't want to miss anything out, then this book is really, really handy. It's called Nihongo So Matome. And it's really good for so I've got the kanji and the kotoba vocabulary book. And I feel like this book is really good because this series, it kind of helps structure you with your learning methods by days. It says what day you are in the week and what week you are also. So this is just the first week and the 5th day, and I think every 7 days you have a little review test as well, which is pretty cool. And it kind of paces you in the sense that it wants you to complete this book in around 6 weeks, and as I feel like the final chapter says, yeah. So your 6 weeks, you'll be on your sixth day, and then I'm sure there's a review test at the end of that. So I really liked that part of the Somatome series. It's good to kind of pace yourself. I think it teaches you kanji at first, and then after a while it teaches you some vocabulary afterwards, and it's kind of a cool format where it kind of like teaches you some kanji to the left side, and then it kind of gets you to put down some of the readings. Some of the readings, and some of the kanji to the readings as well. So I think it's actually pretty cool. This kind of helped, but I already knew most of the things. This is just to like refresh my memory, sort of thing. So if you're like me and you're just like, okay, I need some exam practice, you could probably find some exam practice online. But because the foundation, they kind of don't release a lot of their past papers. So having something like this, so I think this is called Tannin Master Nihongo no Roku Shiken Doriru Yonkyu. This is really good. So it kind of helps you, gives you some mock exam kind of like questions. And I kind of really enjoyed this. It was kind of cool. It wasn't that difficult as well. It was kind of similar to the format you're going to get in the exam. So yeah, definitely like check this out. I feel like the reading was really good as well. So yeah, man, that's one of the books what I use for extra exam practice, as well as the stuff you find online. And I know you can find similar stuff online, but this book was really, really handy for me. So this is made by the Japan Foundation, and it's basically one mock paper inside this, and in this essentially you just got like one whole mock paper, and I feel like it's really good if you just want to practice your timing. So whether or not you're able to clear the sections in the time which is needed, and it has like all the answers right at the back. So and a little CD for the listening part. So that's kind of how I prepared for the N4. But I'll definitely say with each and every one of the books, complete it once, then go through it again with a Japanese native or your teacher or your tutor, whoever that is, and make sure you understand every single page. That's what I tried my best to do. So I went through a section. If I didn't understand the page, I'll put like a little star on it, and then I'll go back through it with like some italki teachers what I had. So italki is a cool service where you can go online and you basically just talk to Japanese natives as community tutors, or you can talk to people with teaching qualifications. You just have to pay like a small fee, but I definitely feel it benefits you a lot. So what I did in those 3 months, it was definitely did all of those 6 books, went over most of them again to make sure I had a complete understanding of them, found some questions online, and I managed to do lots of passive listening as well for 3 months. I didn't watch that much anime actually, so my listening was simply limited to 2 mock papers I found online on like YouTube, my listening book, and just passive listening, and that was really it really. So I know it's a lot of work, but I think it's worth it, and I'm sure there's a lot of free resources online. But my tip for you guys is that I personally found like the reading really difficult, because with reading, I feel like you just have to keep reading more and more and more in order to get better at it. And just one reading book may not be enough for you. You might need to do multiple reading exercises to understand more of the vocabulary, understand more of the structure, and to comprehend a lot more, because the questions can be really tricky. Especially with the N4 I did the other month. It was like the reading questions really tried to trick you out. They really tested your complete understanding of the language. So be wary of that, and I wish you guys the best for your JLPT N4. I may have over prepared, but I think it was the right thing to do, to be fair. And also, like, one last thing, alongside all of those books, I did use the Mino no Nihongo series, and I completed Mino no Nihongo 1 and Mino no Nihongo 2. So it was kind of just like a big refresher going over that and covering some of the things which are not in the textbook as well. And also there's no keigo in N4. Just maybe a tiny bit maybe, but just be aware of it. But no need to stress yourself about it. So I wish you the best with your JLPC M4, and yeah, and people just watch this to get a cool update of the 2018. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next video.